myself. There we go. I am unmuted now. Hopefully you can hear me. It is Thursday. It is 10 a.m. I've got my coffee. Hopefully you have your beverage of choice. It's interesting. They changed the logo. Anyhow, yes, this is Coffee and Conversations. Got some announcements for you, and then we will jump into John chapter 9 and look at a man whose life is radically transformed by his interaction with Jesus. So we've got Easter invites we want you to use and share with people. Hopefully you got some the past few weeks. We have a handful left, and we want you to use them if you have someone you want to invite. And then we also have the brunch on Easter morning after service. And I don't remember who brings what. It's A through G brings something, bacon plus something. And G through Z brings, pastries. So fruit and bacon, A through G. H through Z, bacon and pastries, or egg dish, or meat of some kind. So that's what we want you to bring. We want you to participate. We want you to invite someone, bring a friend, and greet them in the parking lot, walk with them in the building, shake hands with people, be on the lookout for someone new, someone you haven't seen in a while. We want to extend the hospitality of the Lord to those who come. So, friends, sit towards the front, scoot into the middle, because invariably someone who's coming for the first time is going to be late and all that. And so think about more than just like what you normally do. Be on the lookout, be aware that this is someone new might be here. Just like if you invite a friend to your house for the first time, be aware, you're aware of that. You act differently when it's someone who doesn't normally come is showing up. And we want you to do that. And so please be aware and participate. Yes. Blair says bacon. Hey, that rhymes. Blair and bacon. And one thing we're going to do is on Sunday, we're going to hand out these awesome little Easter eggs. And we have enough, I think, close to enough for everyone to take one. And we want you to be praying about who you're going to give this to, where you're going to put it. Maybe it's you put it on your neighbor's doorstep. Maybe you put it on your neighbor's car. Something fun for them to be invited to Easter. Or maybe you go to Starbucks all the time and you leave it in the plant or outside Starbucks. Put it somewhere. Drop it somewhere. And what's great about it is it's got this little invite card, Easter Sunday with church info. But then inside of it is a little Easter lamb, because Jesus is the Lamb of God. We want people to see Jesus on Easter. So we want you to take one of these and find somewhere, someplace, someone to give it to. Maybe it's a neighbor with a small child or a young child that you want to invite, and you want them to come and know the Lord. Take it and use it. Let's scatter seed eggs, segs. Yeah, I don't know. That's cheesy and terrible. Anyhow, let's get out there and let's tell people about the Lord. Let's invite them to hear the good news. We want people to come to know Jesus. All right, moving on from that. Sound Deadening Project continues on. We want your help. We need your help. Please participate. Please encourage others to participate and help as you are able. So this doesn't have to languish on indefinitely. We want to finish strong. This Sunday is the last Sunday to bring those outreach clothing items for Caleb Sika and his efforts with Union Gospel Mission to help provide clothes for homeless people on the streets in Seattle. So if you have clothes that you don't use that could be a benefit to someone, bring them washed, and don't bring dirty clothes. And if I remember correctly, they don't need to be folded, but if you want to fold them, that'd probably be nice. And then lastly, Simply Saturday is 2 days from now. Ladies, hope you'll plan to come and participate and fellowship with the other women of the church. Build those relational connections that go deeper than just a hi and a bye on Sunday morning. Those are the relationships that sustain you in the midst of life, and it is worth your time coming to build those and develop those. And don't just think about how you can get out of it, because sometimes we get trapped in those like, well, what will I get out of it? You know what? The Christian life in the body is not just about what we get out of it. It's also what we help others with. When you think of Hebrews 10:25, it's 24, 25. Don't neglect to meet together with one another as some are in the habit of doing, but instead exhort one another as the day draws near. We both need the exhortation and we need to exhort each other. We need to receive, but we also need to give. The Christian life is not just about receiving. It's also about giving. Jesus gave himself. So ladies, come participate, fellowship with one another, build each other up, hang out, spend time together, develop those relationships, and care for one another. Okay, we're in John chapter 10. Oh, see, the problem with having the little like switcher thing on my desk is sometimes I've got children who like to touch buttons because the buttons light up. And so things get messed up. Or I have my little whiteboard on my desk that sometimes they erase things on, and that's fun. Yes, it's a joy to have children, young children, and children in general being in my office, but sometimes it creates interesting things. Anyhow, what I want us to look at is this story from John chapter 9, where Jesus heals a blind man, and it's like, is it the whole chapter? I can't remember. Yeah, it's the whole chapter. We're not going to read every word of it because then I'd be reading pretty much the entire time. But I want us to look and see what's happening in this story as Jesus encounters this blind man with his disciples. It's a fascinating story. So they're walking by. It says, as he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth, and his disciples asked him. So they're not even interacting with the man at this point. Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And this is kind of this classic human response to suffering. God, what did someone do to cause this problem? You might hear someone who's like, yeah, I have cancer. It's like, well, did you smoke? Like, that's kind of like our natural reaction is we tend to immediately assume that someone has done something to cause some of their problems. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes someone has lung cancer because they smoked. Other times, they just have bad genetics. Their genetic predisposition is for cancer. They may never have smoked a cigarette in their life. They may have been around a smoker. They might not have been in any environment that would cause those things, and yet that still happens to them. But this is kind of classic perspective. This is what the book of Job is dealing with. Like, Job, what did you do wrong to make God mad at you? And what is the book of Job trying to show us is that sometimes the bad things that happen to us are not a result of our sin. But God has a grander vision, a bigger perspective of what he wants to accomplish in us and through us than just making life hunky-dory, kumbaya, easy as we go. Jesus is going to point out to them that it wasn't a result of sin. It was for an entirely different purpose, which reframes their perspective and should reframe our perspective of suffering, really, when it comes down to it. But that's not why we're looking at it today. It says, Jesus answered, it was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. God allowed this man to experience this form of suffering, this event, so that his works might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Having said these things, he spit on the ground and made mud with the saliva. Then he anointed the man's eyes with the mud and said to him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus opens the man's eyes. Without God's work, the man could not see physically. Without God's work in our life, we cannot see spiritually. Without the help of the Holy Spirit, without God at work in us, we are all groping about blind. We don't even realize it, but we can't see. Jesus says that this man was born blind so that the works of God, that the glory of God would be displayed in him. Friends, our suffering, our infirmities are a means for which God can receive glory. If we can worship God in the midst of suffering, it declares the worthiness of God to be worshiped. If we only worship God because he doesn't bring those things into our life, we're not really worshiping God. We're worshiping our comfort, our convenience, we are worshiping him for his benefits, not for his beauty, not for his grandeur, not because he is simply worthy to be worshiped. We have to start with that he is worthy to be worshiped regardless of any benefits we get from him. He deserves our praise because he's the God of the universe. He's the greatest being in all of existence. He deserves our praise regardless of what he gives to us. Jesus is saying, the man was born blind so that the works of God may be displayed in him. Where is God allowing something in your life that the works of God might be displayed in you? Where is God at work in your friends' lives that don't know him yet, that he wants to use, that the works of God may be displayed in them? Then the neighbors are like, well, that clearly can't be the guy. That's not him. He just looks like him. It's his doppelganger. He just looks an awful lot like him. And others are like, no, that's him. And he's like, it's me. I am the man. So they said to him, then how were your eyes open? He said, I don't know. This Jesus guy, he made mud. It's a little weird, a little strange. He spit on the ground. He covered me. He told me to go do this thing. And I went and I did it. And lo and behold, I could see. He doesn't know what God did. He didn't know how it actually happened. We didn't need to. He experienced the results of it. Friends, we don't need to know every detail of what it comes to come to faith and what it comes to be to receive sight, to be able to tell others that we've received our sight. You don't need to know every detail about the order of salvation, the Ordo Salutis. You don't need to know that to tell others that you've been saved. You should know what God has done in your life. How has he worked in your life to save you? What has he delivered you from? What's the blindness he caused to fall from your eyes? How has he caused you to receive sight? Friends, it doesn't have to be complicated. We just need to tell others about what he's done. And clearly the people are like, whoa, this is awesome. So they said, where is he? He said, I don't know. He said, here's mud. Like, you got mud on your eyes. Mud in your face. Go clean. So he's away from Jesus when he gets healed. And the Lord used it to heal him. Now they brought him to the Pharisees because they're trying to figure out what happens, and it happened on the Sabbath, which this is a big no-no. That Jesus, couldn't you have healed him the next day? Yeah, I'm going to make you wait an extra day if I'm going to heal your infirmity, not for your benefit, but just because we're just going to make you wait. No, so Jesus healed on the Sabbath, and the Pharisees like, there's no way that guy couldn't be from God, because he doesn't follow the rules the way we think he's supposed to follow the rules. Like, Jesus is clearly a sinner. What is happening with these people? And they say to him, because there's a disagreement, like, what is Jesus? Who is Jesus? And they say, he's like, I don't know, But I can tell you this. I think he's a prophet, because that's what prophets do. They can heal people. They can open eyes. It's purely a speculation. And they said they did not believe. That's a key word in John's gospel. That he had been blind and had received his sight until they had called his parents and said, "Is this your son?" Like, well, yeah. And he says, they're like, okay. And his parents said these, they're like, well, was he born blind? How did he get healed? And they're like, they don't want to answer because they know there will be consequences. It says his parents said these things because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that if anyone should confess Jesus to be Christ, he was to be put out of the synagogue. They would be kicked out of the whole communal relationship. They would be shunned. They would be outcast in society. Right? So his parents say, "Go ask him." So they come to him a second time. "Give glory to God. We know that this man is a sinner." He said, "Whether he's a sinner or not, one thing I know is that I was blind and now I see." Friends, that's what we need to do. We don't need to have all the answers. We should say, you know what? This is the effect that this had in my life. I came to know the Lord. The Lord helped me see this is who Jesus is, and share with them. They revile him and they kick him out, and they start ridiculing him. They want nothing to do with him. They're gonna cut ties, and so they cast him out. But Jesus hears that they had cast him out, and he finds him. He says, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" And he answered, "And who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You've seen him, and it is he who is speaking to you." He said, "Lord, I believe," and he worshiped him. Jesus said, "For judgment I came into this world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who see may become blind." Some of the Pharisees heard these things and said to him, "Are we also blind?" And Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no guilt. But now that you say we see, your guilt remains." Friends, this man's life is transformed by his encounter with Jesus. Jesus helps him to see. We want our friends, our family members, our neighbors, our coworkers, we want them to see Jesus. Who can you help see Jesus this year by inviting them to come to a service, by sharing the good news, by telling them about what Jesus has done? We have the opportunity through our personal experience, through our testimony, to share with others about how we now see because Christ enabled us to. Who can you share that with? Jesus caused you to see. It wasn't of your own ability that you saw. It was because God graciously came into your life. He graciously inserted himself into your life at a specific moment in time, and he caused you to see. He made mud, he put it on your eyes, he sent you to the pool of Siloam, and you were healed. You were enabled to see. Who can you help with that? We can't cause anyone to see, but you know what? We can do a whole lot of inviting, praying, asking, encouraging. We can do a bunch of things to participate in God's gracious work. It's really interesting just even thinking about it. The disciples posed the question, and it's like, "Hey, Jesus, why is this guy get healed?" Let's just standing aside for the moment that God knew and God was going to do it. Like, the disciples' question initiates the event. What can we do to initiate the event? God will save people, but he also uses us as people to help those come to faith. So, friends, I hope you'll be praying and encouraging people to come. Think about who you can specifically invite. Ask the Lord to reveal to you who is that one person, or maybe you got five. You got 5 people you're going to invite. Who are the people that you will encouraged to come on Easter, and pray that the Lord would help them to see, because we want them to see. All right, friends, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you Sunday.